Hey guys, it's Dave. I'm going to go through this week's earnings watch list. We have a few names on earnings coming up. Well, let me go to, I was looking at X. I typically go off of, there's probably a lot more earnings coming up this week, but I go off of Earnings Whispers, shout out, and kind of just go through this list every week to see what would be interesting to me. And so I did that already. I'll leave that up so we can go back to it. Where's 5 then? Didn't I? Hang on, sorry. Let me check something real quick. Apparently I didn't like that. Okay, either way, I'm on TradeIdeas. I already added all those names that I thought would be interesting for the upcoming week into my earnings watch list. And then as earnings come out, I have it organized by when earnings are coming out. Then as earnings come out, I add them to a earnings response or an earnings reactions list. And that just continues to grow. So mostly on these earnings reactions, it comes from the earnings watch list. If they respond in a large gap up, large volume, which is most of the time, but it has to be like large volume with bullish candle and an uptrend over shorter term EMAs, things like that, EMAs and SMAs, or large gap downs like DEC. So like for potential shorts, although I'm not shorting in this market right now. All right, anyways, let's go over some names that are coming up. Monday, markets close. So we're going to start with mRNA. I'm pretty sure, yeah, that was earnings on like Friday or Thursday or something like that. All right, we're going to start with Wings. February 18th, Tuesday, pre-market. I wasn't super interested in anything on Monday, so I don't have anything on Monday. You can go look at Monday stuff if you want to. All right, Wings. This is a nice look below and fail setup. The entry would have been here on the 11th as it came back in and held that price. You would have caught, two days of nice up movement, 3 days for a decent gain here. Basically how I would play this is I would look for a gap down to this prior support level or a gap up to this prior resistance level. Now, if it gapped up to that level, I would anticipate selling. It would be cool if it blasted right through it. If you guys are long, that'd be great. Otherwise, I would look for a gap up, sell off to this prior resistance level and a potential hold, and then maybe for it to flag. So in general, on gap ups, I don't, unless you want to do like a second day, third day continuation, set an anchor VWAP to the earnings day, high volume, gap up, and then enter on like the tag of the earnings day anchor VWAP. Let's say earnings was on Monday. You don't touch it Monday. Tuesday comes along, you set an anchor VWAP to Monday. Tuesday comes along, price comes down, tags the anchor VWAP from Monday, and then gets back above the Tuesday anchor VWAP. That'd be entry. Stop loss would go below low of day. Or below the second day, the earnings gap anchor VWAP. That could be a second day continuation play. For me, it would be a short-term momentum if it wanted to continue for another 2, 3, maybe 4 days after earnings reaction before price starts to digest and create like a flag or a pennant. So you could have potentially 2 separate trades based off of just one. You could have probably more than 2, but those just 2 example off of one catalyst, which would be earnings. So it'd be like a short-term momentum play. And then as time goes on, price digest sets up a flag, a flat base, a pennant, or whatever. It could set up in the breakout and you can buy a breakout of that stuff. So that'd be kind of what I'm looking at in general for any gap ups. ETR looks pretty interesting as well. This is just continuing to grind upwards. You can see it broke out here, retested here, and then starts pushing up higher. Broke this downtrend line. Now it's finding supply where it had supply prior. So I would be interested in this. Again, this is Tuesday before market opens. If it wants to gap up and run, gap down, maybe hold this 78.50 level, that could be a potential buy with the 50 SMA confluence. Potential. Just having plans out ahead of time of how things would play out is very beneficial. So you're not just shooting from the hip and winging it. You got to be prepped and prepared. AXSM. I like this look. I like it a lot. It is short-term extended. If I were to play this, it would be like a short-term momentum play because it is now has 4 inside days from, what is this, Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday. Wednesday was inside of Tuesday. Thursday was inside of Wednesday, and Friday was inside of Thursday. So this is getting super tight. It is a 15.5% short float. And then, if I recall correctly, if we look at the weekly, let me zoom out real quick here. You can see this prior supply area, these highs. Oh, there we go. Loaded up. Loaded up improperly, but that's fine. I need to do a little something like that. It's been holding this breakout ascending triangle type look. And so it looks good. Oh, that's probably why I put a line up here. There we go. That looks nice. It broke out to, pretty sure that's all-time highs. Getting real tight. Prices are accepting up there. 16% short float. It's unfortunate, in my opinion, that earnings is on Tuesday because I'm not in it already and I missed the move. But I do like AXSM. That would be a top look for me, depending on how price responds to earnings, of course. MDT. This looks like it's, here's the weekly chart. It looks like it's trying to turn around. It's trying to break out of this long-term phase 1 consolidation break. If you want to set a, supply area, it'd be right around there. So it's right at it. It is coming up against the 200 weekly SMA, but it looks like it's trying to turn around. So if earnings could be the catalyst to do that, what I would look for is a gap above these levels and for it to price to hold above those levels. And then once price holds above them, it wants to continue higher. That could set off the phase 2 uptrend. So MDT looks pretty solid in my opinion as well. It just needs some time for me to work out. Baidu, I don't trade China stocks. A lot of people are talking about China and stocks and turning around and this and that. That's great. They're too whippy. This looks like it's starting to base. It's finding, it's just loads improperly. It's finding support again here at the 75 level, pushing off higher. It looks like it wants to try and turn around. So if you guys want to trade that, have fun. Good luck. I hope you make a lot of money and all the money in the world that you can ever possibly make. Wix. I like this. You can see it just recently broke a base from May 24 to November of 24. So a multi-month base breakout on volume, huge move. That might have been earnings, I don't know. And it failed to move higher once it broke out of that range. And now it is coming back and tagging the support, or looks like it's trying to anyways, around 210. I would probably be, where did it find supply here? It probably found supply around this. Let me just mark that. Yeah, or up around here. So I would anticipate supply being found in that level. Simply because, anybody that's been holding for the past 4 years has a chance to get out. 4 or 5 years has a chance to get out at break even, or if you bought down here. You might be holding it a little bit longer if you're up there, but either way, whatever. So I am looking for it to basically break out and gap up to set an earnings flag. Here's the daily. It broke out of this range, came back, retested, failed to move higher after testing that 246 again. And so now it pulled back into about the 50% zone, right? That's about halfway, and then now it's pushing higher, sold off. This could be a potential higher low versus that mid-range zone. So I will be looking for kind of these levels to hold, for it to move to things like that. Wix, it looks decent. Looks decent as long as it can get its stuff together and start curling back upwards and continue its trend. Short float, nothing crazy, around 4%, 3%. GLBE, he's been on my radar, but I haven't gotten in. Or I should have gotten in, could have gotten in if I was monitoring it, but I've been in other trades. Is this right here? Breakout of this, retest. You can see I set an alert, it went off. Never did anything with it. So or it went off and then I moved it as well as purple still. I probably reset it. Yeah, this just continues to trend higher. It's a nice look. You know, I'd anticipate a gap up, especially if earnings wants to support this price action higher. If we zoom out, let's see where the weekly takes us. There you go. That's a little consolidation break, right? And now the trend is certainly up. Higher highs are being made. Higher lows are being made. So looks nice for a continuation. Maybe we find some supply around this $69, $70 area. So I'd look maybe for a gap up around that area, some selling, and then maybe it sets a higher low versus, I don't know, this prior level for us to buy around. Or maybe it sets up a flag. That'd be nice. GLVE looks decent overall. PGR is apparently on Wednesday. I don't remember seeing that in there, but according to the TradeIdeas, that is. In a range. I did mark this a little bit ago. It was a couple weeks ago when I said it undercut these levels, just look below and fail, opposite end range target, came back, tested those lows again. So, and then it broke out to these highs. I think I marked it around early February as it was holding above this level, and now it's trending upwards. Target was opposite end range here. And it depends on if it wants to hold. This is not something I would trade just yet, as it needs to break out of this range and hold the range so it can actually start trending upwards instead of just chip chop around. Garmin, interesting. In range, I would just wait for it to either break lower of the range, and that could be a buy potential, or just could start downtrending, or a gap up above this range. Anything within this range, I won't touch it. This feels like it just needs more work to do. However, if you zoom out on the weekly, looks pretty darn nice. Nice base, little kind of like a little flag there. It's holding. Either way, it's holding it. And just kind of giving a little flat base out of this. So once this breaks out, either way, it's not going to stay in range forever. I do like how it undercut that. See that bottoming tail? It undercut these lows, kind of shook out the weekends, right? If there was more supply coming out with that shakeout, also that's a 20 weekly EMA. You know, if there was supply coming out, people were using those stops. There it is right there. Opposite end range target here. So target, technically, this could be a look below and fail. Entry would have been nice on Thursday, and 222, 223 would be opposite target. But either way, managing the earnings here, I would wait until it breaks that range. For me, you do what you want. Not financial advice. Fiber, kind of looks like a flag-ish. It's not super clean. However, it does look like it's trying to turn around. It does have a 13% short float. Again, draw a downtrend line like that. So we shall see what this wants to do. Looking at the weekly, if I remember correctly, it looked pretty nice. This might have been a consolidation break. Yeah. So hitting supply here, nice rounding bottom with a handle here. So this weekly looks like a cup and handle to me. So if the earnings can act as a catalyst to get this kind of turned around and trending, my pen's not working, trending upwards, that would be nice. Especially if it can get over this 36 level, except up here, maybe spend 2-3 weeks and start crumbling back up. That can be nice, but you know, even as you zoom out even further, it still has a supply level around 47 it has to break. So overall, it looks like it wants to do something. So I would keep an eye on it, especially with a 13% short float. Next, TOST. It's been a popular name, especially on X. A lot of people talking about it. Held by institutions, only 64%. Insiders, 25%. So a lot of it, it's decently locked up. Short float is 7.3%. Nice weekly, nice rounding bottom there. Inside week, last week, if we zoom out, it has broken this phase 1 consolidation, found supply at a prior level of supply, and it looks like it wants to trend higher, especially if it wants to break this 44 level, which is 10% away. So maybe earnings can really get that going as well. So TOST is another one I would be watching in particular this week for me. Cake, you guys like cheesecake? Look at that. Nice little rounding bottom. This prior level supply broke it with strength, came back, retested it, set a bottoming tail last week. 15% short float. Earnings is on Wednesday after market closes. Let's look at the daily here. What does that have to offer? Breakout and retest, right? You can see obvious level of supply here in range, and it created higher lows there, and then accelerated a little bit, broke out, consolidated near those highs, broke out, came back, retested 50 SMA confluence, and then now it's pushing away. So this is a pretty decent setup here. If earnings were not on, what did I say, Wednesday, I might take a shot at this. Let's see if buyers are in control yet. Let that anchor VWAP load up. No, buyers are not in control. Anchor VWAP from this high on the 4th of February is around 54. So it's got some work to do either way. But it looks decent if you want to hold for a while. CVNA, 10% short float, and it just rips. So I'd be watching this. This is a pretty volatile name. This is at a huge move from the bottom. If we set an anchor VWAP from this low, even if, potential wise, if it were to get smacked on earnings for whatever reason, 217, that'd be a huge gap down. It'd be close. It looked like it kind of loaded up wrong, but it'd be close to the anchor VWAP. So that could be a potential area of interest. I feel like I'd be catching a falling knife with it though, but CVNA, popular name, especially with I think the last year is really popular. Walmart has been an absolute tear. This thing broke out, retested here, and then just been running. I'm not touching it Thursday before market opens. This is in an obvious downtrend. I would not buy this short term. I wouldn't swing this short term. I would swing this longer term, simply because if you look at the weekly, this is pulling back to this multi-month base, basically a year. 214, this range, the week of 214, this range was created. So I'm looking at that specifically. It broke out, came back, retested it, it held, came back, set a higher, retested the highs, found some supply again at prior level, pulled back, set a higher low versus this, and then got tight underneath that range and then broke out. Now it's created lower lows. It broke this low here. So now we need to see if basically this level will hold. Maybe earnings will give it enough catalyst to gap up and then do some selling and then spend some time above, within this, 120, call it 120 to 110 range. Build a base in there and then start to turn up. Or it can get smoked during earnings, gap down into this range, sell off to this prior support, and then bounce. And then it could start a longer term downtrend. I don't know. I'm just trying to be planning ahead of time. Either way, it was interesting to me because it is indeed at this level of prior interest. Prior supply coming back could potentially be support. We shall see. We just need for it to actually show its hands. LNG coming close to this prior level of support on the weekly here. The daily, I'm pretty sure looks sloppy. Sorry, dog hair in my mouth. Mercado Libre, MELI. Nice downtrend line broken. Let me draw it so you can see what I'm talking about. And then strong push. It's coming up to those prior levels of supply. So what I would be looking for, especially with earnings, is a gap up above this level, and for it to accept above these highs. Or if it wants to gap down, spend a couple of days, few days in this halfway, like if it wants to give back 50% around, I don't know, 1970, something like that, create a higher low on the weekly versus this, give back about 50% of this move, maybe gap down to the 20 SMA, spend some time, let the 50 SMA, this is 20 EMA, sorry, let the 50 SMA catch back up and start actually curling up, and then retest those highs, then get tight and then break out. Maybe that would be the play. So MELI looks interesting. I just think it might need some time to actually work a plan out, because to me, this is already pretty extended. It's had a very strong move over the past few weeks, so maybe it's just running up into earnings. BABA, again, China. I don't trade it. A while ago, I bought it like around here, rode it all the way up, and then I sold it off somewhere around here once it broke those lows. I was letting it consolidate, letting the 50 SMA catch on up, and if it wanted to curl back up, and it just didn't do that. And so now I put my money elsewhere, let that work, and now it's going all the way back up there again. I don't trade China names, but there you have it. Baba has it this week. I hope you make all the money in the world if you are long. TXRH looks interesting, not short term, but I'm pretty sure I like this on the weekly because it is retesting again this base area here at this point in time. I think this is kind of a do or die moment for Texas Roadhouse. Short float doesn't have a lot of juice to propel it. 3%, I consider 5% significant. So it's just interesting to me based off of this look, this retest look here. It is closing like within that range. So I'm just watching it to see how it works out. BKNG, nice little consolidation here between this $4,978 and $4,665. It broke out of that range, and now it looks like it wants to go retest those highs. Earnings is on Thursday after the market closes. If we go look at the daily, it has a nice little rounding bottom here. I can do a downtrend line. Downtrend line. Broke that. Short float's nothing crazy. This blue line, I have an alert on it. Basically, that's level of supply. Maybe earnings can get it to gap up. Maybe it gaps down and finds this. I don't know, but I'm just looking at these prior levels of interest to see how the stock, this name, respects them. And we'll see what actually happens. This does look interesting to me, though. BKNG. All right, what do we have next? Dropbox. This is grinding up, right? Short term, MAs pointing up, 200 SMA, 50 SMA, 5 SMA pointing up, 10 EMA, 20 EMA pointing up. This is just in an uptrend, which is nice. Ideally, a good earnings report supports that uptrend, which most of the time I feel like it does. I'm pretty sure it does. There's some stats to support that. Maybe it gaps up above these highs, holds these highs, and really creates a trend upwards. Even a gap down to like $29 might be worthy of a potential stab at it and a buy. Last time, look what it did last time. Ran up to, I'm assuming this is earnings, and got smoked. So this is a level of interest for DBX. I think that it looks like it was earnings, high volume. Either way, coming up to a level of interest there. GH, I think, looked pretty decent. If we zoom out, let me blow this up for you a little bit. If we zoom out, consolidation, phase one, broke out of that. Now we have next level is 60-ish, call it. So a nice, decent move up. Earnings is on Thursday. Looking at the daily, this is just trending upwards. Pull back to the 20. Now, we're going to look to retest those highs. Maybe it pulls back on earnings all the way. Couldn't get to the retest here. But if it did, we would have a 50 SMA confluence. Maybe if it chops on sideways, we can set an anchor VWAP to these prior highs. And then once buyers are in control, maybe hits that anchor VWAP, finds some selling, and creates a higher low at some point. That could be a decent buy opportunity. So GH looks interesting to me, specifically because I like the weekly consolidation break, phase one break. What next? INOD. This has been a pretty volatile name. Last earnings, huge move, but it's done nothing but whip. It's just been super whippy. And so looking at this, it's now attempting these highs again. So it's running up before earnings. They might be running it up to, who's they? I don't know. Bigger buyers. They're buying it up to earnings, and maybe they're gonna use the buy the rumor, sell the news type event. And news would be earnings. I don't know. Just speculating. Otherwise, this could just continue to run. It's got a 16% short float. I do like me some short floats, high short floats, above 5%. I like 15 and plus. So I'm looking at that name also to see how it responds. Ideally it flags, gets real tight, and then moves. Now I'm pretty sure this was an earning move too. Hopefully it just doesn't gap up, run for a day or two. I mean, you can do the second day continuation setup if you want to, and then just chop sideways for months. I would like for this thing to actually trend. Rivian looks like it's trying to turn around. You zoom out on the weekly, and it's like almost trying to do a down trend line break. Don't die on me. Ooh. What do I got? 30%. Looks like it's trying to break that down trend line. All right, maybe broke, retest, looks pretty decent. I'm gonna hurry up here. TXNM, I think I only have two names left. Friday, before market opens, nice little base here, running, broke highs. So printed, I'm pretty sure these are all-time highs. So printed all-time highs this week, pulling back. Nice topping tail. Nothing too crazy on volume, just a relative volume 1.1. Average volume, it's typically a lower level volume stock. I like 750 minimal, but my size doesn't matter. It doesn't really change too much, so I'm just being nitpicky. Looks like it wants to start trending upwards. Maybe this base here wants to break out and then retest and then continue on up. Maybe earnings can act as that catalyst. And then UNIT unit, I'm going to write down TXNM. Is kind of chopping in a range. I'm just, I don't know. Why did I like this? I don't really like this. It's kind of sloppy. Maybe I like the weekly. Maybe the weekly. Maybe it was the weekly that did it for me. Phase one, consolidation. Maybe it'll break it up, but I don't know. I take this back. I don't like this name. Days to cover 8, 5%. I don't know. Maybe the catalyst can, maybe earnings can get this thing out of this little consolidation range here. We shall see. All right, I'm going to call it at that. Those are the names I'm interested in this week up to earnings. Something like that. Do that. With an emphasis on AXSM, MDT, MELI, TOST, FVRR, BKNG, GH, INOD, and TXNM. I'll be watching those. Good luck. Manage your risk. Stay safe. Thanks for your time. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Engage with me. I like comments. I like working with other people. So manage your risk. Thanks for your time. Later.